Are men not approaching women in the church? Girl, we about to find out. We about to find out. Like, we about to find out today. Today. Like, the Inside Out Singles is about to tell us, the men's edition, they're about to give us the tease as to why men don't approach women in the church.
Attractive, black, Christian women unmarried. That's the question that bothered me the most. It was not negative for so long. I go into church and see so many straight up fine sisters.
We can survive without a man. We do. All the time, all over the country. For years, we can survive without sexual intimacy. We can survive. We can make it, all right? But we're not satisfied, okay? I'm not going to say happy, because the word happy is not in the Bible, the Torah article was, so it can't be that important. They made it important to us because we spend money for happiness, all right? And we think it's everybody pick out what they want to have happiness, all right? But as I said, peace is the number one thing that creates happiness and allows all of the other things to grow and happen. But we're very lonely because of our men being so discouraged right now. Okay.
If you know how to slide into my DMs, but you can't slide into the presence of God, you ain't my type. If your prayer life is as inconsistent as your texting game, you ain't my type.
I'm tired of my prayers not reaching God because this thick lady over here in this Shein outfit messing up my prayers. I keep looking. Y'all be too thick to be in the house of the Lord like this. Wear a long skirt. I'm trying to get my prayers up to God, and y'all's, this is not what God wants for me. I'm trying to pray to God, and y'all so thick running by me in that offering table. I'll be like, tapping my homeboy, like, look, she's so thick. Oh my God. That's how I know my prayers ain't getting through. Some religions got it right when they put the women over there and the men over there. I get it, because you can't concentrate on God and prayer when this lady smell good and thick and she ain't got no panties on. You in the middle of prayer. You done got chubby a little bit. Your meat done jump like, oh, I see you. I don't need to be like this in church, God. Father, I can't concentrate when there's a thick lady that smell good next to me. I don't even care what her face look like. If she thick, I'm looking.
So a little over a year.
Hey, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors due to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect. All right, it's the brother Yeshaya, part of Men of Valor, South Carolina. And this lesson right here is going to be a quick lesson. I've been stumbling upon these videos, I guess TikTok or whatnot. But yeah, the title got me. It was something along the lines of women are not getting approached in the church, or why women are not, you know, basically while there's a vast number of single women in the church. All right, that's because, you know, the Spirit of the Lord is not dwelling in those whorehouses, man. Okay, it's all about the covering that you women choose, and a lot of, you know, our people, they're under the veil of Christianity, Roman Catholicism, okay, the false prophet, because pretty much all of these religions, including Baptists, Christianity, you know, all of that is under the veil of, you know, the Roman Catholic Church, all right, which is like the mother of all these bastard religions, you know. But without further ado, I got some scriptures to prove and show why Yahweh Shai is not dwelling in these churches. Thus, you cannot find a man. And back to what the lady said, I forgot what's her name right here, but she was saying basically the men are not intimidated, but she said basically demoralized, man. And that was around that time, you know, that movement that wasn't meant for you all. Okay, that thinking of that woman with the bicep, you know, feminism. Okay, that movement was not for you Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And that's part of the curses of why you act like that, why you're so rebellious against your men. All right. So yeah, she was right. She said there. Let me see if I can play it again.
Because of our men being so discouraged right now. Okay. If you know how to.
Okay, discouraged. Okay, so yeah. All right, and it's your fault, you know, following that serpent, Okay, just as you did in the garden, man. So without further ado, let's hit these scriptures. All right, we're gonna hit the book of Acts, the 7th chapter and the 48th verse, and it reads, "Heaven, howbeit, the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will you build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest?" So all of these little churches, these mega churches and everything like that. First and foremost, the Lord doesn't dwell in temples made with hands. Of course, we had the temple. Okay, that was the way that the Lord communicated with us on earth. Okay, going into the holies of holies with the Levitical priest at the moment. But now Yahweh Shah has opened that up. That's why the veil broke on the temple rent when he let up the spirit. Okay, so I mean that's for another lesson. But this is main reason why there's so much because there's adultery going. There's such lasciviousness that goes on in these churches, and that's how you know that that's not the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. Like going back to that video, these women were dressed scantily clad, man. Okay, and when church is supposed to be for worship, like actual worship, by studying the scriptures, and if you had a woman, okay, you would not send her to church. I mean, you would not allow her to enter a church looking like this with you on her side. Let's see. Yeah, like that. Come on, man. You will not. Come on, man. All right. All right. So, yeah. I cut my camera off on accident. So back to it. I'm trying to remember where I, left off through the spirit. But yeah. You got women, and if you have a man and you going to church, you're not coming out with him like that if he's a man of the Lord, all right? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah doesn't, it's in the commandments, man. Women are supposed to be modest and out and like that. Those I forgot what they call it, but the whole headdress, them women, the so-called Middle Eastern women, the Afghani and Pakistani women, the so-called Muslim women be wearing, where they cover everything except their eyes. Sometimes they even have them covered. They can see through it. But, that's how you don't want to entice a man because, we're men. So if you walking around, looking scantily clad, of course, it's going to garner eyes. But, hey, if you stay on another man's wife, all right, with, that intent in your heart, then you already committed adultery, like the scriptures say. I'm going to quote a lot of those because, just want to make this short and to the point. So, yeah, man. All right, this is not it, man. And the spirit of the Lord is not dwelling in these churches, man. And a lot of people are going to find out the hard way, all right? Because this church is it has a horrible track record, and that's why Elder Apostle Tahar calls it what? Slavery or plantation Christianity, all right? Because the Christianity that that your black ass know, all right, is that slave Bible, okay? The first slave ship was named the Good Ship Jesus, man. So that had a you see how the Lord did that, man? The first slave ship that our black ass was on the way over here on was named the Good Ship Jesus, man. That should tell you everything you need to know about Jesus and the doctrine and just everything you need to know, man. Acts 17:24, the Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worship with men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. So that little, $2 million building, that $500,000 building, that $40,000 building with air conditioning not working, all right? All these churches from the least to the small, they're all, they're all BS, man. All right, and get up out of there, and you can find the men of the Lord because the men of the Lord are not going to be in those said churches, man. All right, yeah, they're not going to be in those said churches. So let's go to the book of Isaiah 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And what man do you ask? A man of the Lord. Okay, his tabernacle is with men. Okay, his pasture is with men. All right. So he's dealing with his 144,000, the ones that are on this planet, because you have the 144,000, all right, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel that will be the house of David, the governing body under Yahushua, well, King David, Yahushua, and Yahweh, Okay, under in that order. All right, Yahweh, Yahushua, King David, and the rest of the 12, and you know wherever the rest of the 144,000 fall in. Okay, because you got some of the 144,000 on the earth right now doing what they were set up to do from the beginnings of the foundations of the earth before it was laid. All right, to prophesy. All right, to please the Lord and be those 7,000. AKA representing the completion in a thousands of number sense. All right, so that 144,000 is the complete number. All right, of men that have not bowed their knee to Baal. All right, like he told one of his prophets was Elijah or Isaiah. Yeah, you know. All right. So, and this and to answer another question, okay, you got, man, the women, and y'all women are too proud, man. You got a woman talk about if your text game ain't like your man. It ain't about that, and that's why, because that the anchor or the root of that Christian church is basically feminism, man. All right, Queen of Heaven worship. Okay, man, you should see, you know, these churches on Mother's Day or around that time. All right, they'll have a whole sermon and talk about Mary and all that, which we're not taking away from, you know, Mary being an elect woman or a great woman because she was chose to birth Yahushua. And also, you know, the scriptures talk about the elect lady. But the focal point that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua means to, you know, convey is that he's working through his men. All right, and of course women have their role, but he's working through his men. All right, and right now the turning of things upside down, the women are esteemed higher than the men. All right, but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is on the way to correct all that. So Genesis 3:16, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now let's get this in the blue letter, because it better explains it in the NLT. Okay, the breakdown of this scripture. Genesis 3:16, then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth. And your desire to control your husband, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. Okay, so, hey, y'all, you women, if y'all really want to come to Yahushua, man, y'all really have to, you know, really clean up. Just like we did, you know, get certain leaven, okay, from the world out of you, man. Okay, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will lead you to who he has ordained you to be with. Okay, you just have to, you know, repent, put off the world, okay, and try your best to, you know, seek the Father, even though you know most of y'all might not have a man. All right, and if you're sincere, you're gonna end up with a brother of the Lord, another sincere brother of the Lord, and y'all union could be that of the elect. All right, but there's a lot of women that's gonna fall by the wayside, man. You know. And they're gonna carry them curses to their grave, all right, to the end, all right, where, you know, 4 types of judgment are waiting, okay, famine, the captivity, the sword, the beast of the field, okay. Hey man, it's going down out here when Jacob's trouble hit, man, and you know y'all women are really gonna get broken down to, you know, you know, it's gonna be a sight to see, man. It's gonna be crazy. Isaiah 32. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So a man of the Lord, okay, will be a hiding place from the wind, aka the destruction and the judgment that these people are about to face in these coming months, man. All right, we're to the point where we're talking about months. All right, like Elder Apostle Tahar says. So yeah, you got to get yourself right for the Lord to set you up with a man of the Lord, man. All right, you can go on 50 singles dates, but hey, you gonna end up, if you end up with a man that's, you know, not of the elect, then, you know, hey, you would have been better off alone, really. You know, you're gonna be tied down. Hey, both of y'all you know, get judged together. Sirach 26:23, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. So, hey, y'all women have to really know the Lord. Y'all have to get out that Jesus mind state, that Christianity mind state, and get your brain washed, which is a positive term. Okay, get your brain washed. All right, focus on Yahweh Shai, and rebuilding your relationship with him, because we're in these times, man. All right, we don't have much longer left, you know, just speaking through the Spirit. And I got one more. This is the book of, let me see what this says. Proverbs 31, which is good. And 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. So remember I told you, basically, you know, the Lord is going to turn his men into, you know, make his men more valuable than gold, and the finest gold that there is in Ophir, right? And he's likening the elect lady, or the woman of his wife, okay, for her price is far above rubies. So hey, y'all have to, you know, and a ruby has to be what? Polished, you know, get the imperfections off of it, grind it down, okay? So, hey, man, you know, Lord willing, this is edifying and it made sense. Giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors due to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect. Until next time, shalom.